So hi, welcome to Binge Buddies Bad Days in Haddonfield. With me, your host, is always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is Matt, Zombie Dog, Sloppy Nuts, Dykes.
Have you just been going through like my old high school nicknames or something?
No, I literally typed it. No, I'm gonna wait till I get through everybody. We also have Joel Minion DeWitte.
Yes.
And
I am yellow and wear blue suspenders all the time.
He is wearing blue right now.
I am kind of pill shaped too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And you wear
You've only got one eye as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
When do you get that fixed, by the way?
I'll just poke it out again.
We also have Ryan Porkchop Lootens.
You know, I kind of like Matt's better.
Yeah, I do
I'll
too.
take pork chop.
I literally just typed into Google funny nicknames.
I like pork chops. I'll eat a pork chop.
Those are the top 3 results: Sloppy Nuts, Minion, and Pork Chop.
What kind of
What are the kids doing these days?
I'm gonna say, how are they getting these nicknames?
You don't want to know.
Yeah, they're pretty great. I was gonna keep doing the train of slashers, but I just can't help myself. I just could not find any that I enjoyed saying anymore, so I just went for funny nicknames.
Well, we have like 11 films in at this point.
Yeah, that's a lot of slashers if you think of all the. I mean, I know I repeated a couple, but it's a lot. And I should also apologize up here on the top that I know we said be back on like the 16th or something like that, and then that didn't happen. My wife caught COVID and she was quarantining in the room I record in, so we took a nice long break while she got better. But we made it back, right? We're back today.
You did clean the room, right?
What?
What's that hanging above your head, Brian?
It
looks like a cloud of COVID cells.
I thought you were gonna say it's like a halo because he's already dead. But
that's where I was going. That's what I thought. I was like, damn.
Wait, you think that he's going up?
I was gonna say.
He's going downtown.
Hey, I'm a nice guy.
you always hope.
I mean, you always say that with a question mark at the end there.
And a shrug of your shoulders.
We do what we can. I did make a number of my friends watch every single Halloween movie, for better or worse, so I guess I could understand the argument.
And all the Friday the 13th films a few years ago.
That was
in
only
the
you.
Space. No. There was a couple of us who had to do that because we had to do it in like
2 weeks.
literally, well, less than 2 weeks. I think we had to literally like. I think it was pretty much okay. So we're gonna have to watch at least one every day.
Yeah, I was watching,
and then on one day you'll have to watch 2 before we can record this. And it's like, oh boy, I remember that was a lot of teenagers dying.
It was the only way to burn me out in Friday the 13th was to do that again. It was too much death. It's just too much. Won't somebody think of the children?
I mean, Jason did, and then he killed them.
Well, he thought I should kill those children. Michael's not that far off. But we should get started. We have moved into the final trilogy of the Halloween franchises. This is the David Gordon Green trilogy. Some say it's one of the better ones. I would maybe agree. I don't know, probably. The first one's good, which is what we're talking about today. And then next week, we'll get to next week. But
I mean, that tends to be a theme of these Halloween films. Like the first one of this trilogy, it's really good. Next week,
yeah. Well, I do like Halloween. The first Halloween 2. Where I don't remember how many Halloween 2s we're on now, but I do like the first Halloween 2. That one was good.
Yeah, but when you're comparing it to such classics as Halloween 5 or Halloween Resurrection, it's a very low bar.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Halloween 2 isn't a masterpiece compared to those things.
Low bar, very low bar.
Do we need to watch Resurrections again?
But here's the thing, like, both done by Rick Rosenthal, and Rick Rosenthal had more creative control in 8.
That's
well, not really. It was Weinstein. My mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my money, 1 and 2 are pretty on equal footing in terms of how good they are. I mean, those are peak Halloween for me, at least so far.
Yeah, I think this one gets as close as any of the sequels have gotten to like rekindling that feeling for me.
Yes.
I still don't think it's perfect. I still have a lot of problems with it, which we'll get through today. But by and large, if I had to watch any of the Halloween sequels, this is probably the one I'm going to reach for, like when we're done with this. Maybe H2O, but it's most likely going to be this one. So I'm coming to this one from a pretty positive place, even with my kind of negative kind of bites at it. Where did everybody else land on it? Do you guys like this one? I know Joel liked it when he watched it accidentally the first time.
Yeah, but that's just because he hadn't, he then went on to watch the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 straight after it, and like, that first one was a really fucking good film, but then it was really weird. The second one was like, it was a completely different cast,
completely different feel,
way more violent,
more swear words.
This series has humbled me in more ways than one.
But Joel, your honest take on this one, you did enjoy this one, right?
I did. It's definitely on that side of the good Halloween movies. If we're gonna make it binary of good versus bad, it leans more towards there. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is an important piece of what makes this movie work, because it's kind of the Reggie thing, where like the farther you go in, the further they know who their character is and leans in heavily into it.
I love that you just casually reference Phantasm now, just like not even not even clarifying what you're talking about.
I caught it.
Like Reggie.
he and I are on familiar terms now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you. Reggie's great.
He is.
But yeah, it's a good movie. It's very good, and the kills are quality. I think they very much try to do the whole resetting the table, with that kind of foundation that's not too dissimilar from the original series. It's clear they tried to straddle that line between new story and then having it steeped in sort of the history, and I think they straddled that line pretty well.
Yeah. Matt, what about you?
I love this film. I think it's probably, in terms of like a follow-up to the original film, I think it's the best one out of them all, really, in terms of what it does with the story. Like H2O did something similar with the Laurie character, but I think this one feels a bit more complete in that, because Halloween H2O, there's a lot of story there, and then the sort of the Michael side of that felt very rushed. Whereas with this one, you're getting a lot of the sort of like the backstory and everything, but you're getting it alongside Michael's stuff. I think it's very well done, that. And I think it's, as far as sequels go, for me personally, I think the best kind of timeline, as it were, is the first Halloween film, and then this is the actual true sequel to that.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not sure where I land on how I want the sequels laid out, but I see what you mean. And then Ryan, you I remember you really liked this one, right?
Yes, this one is, I would almost put it as a perfect sequel, in the sense that it takes directly from the first one. Right off the bat, it has a great setup where it reintroduces a new generation to exactly what happened, of course, but they don't need that because people have seen Halloween. It's either way. What I really enjoyed about this is it brought a fresh take while showing trauma. And they go off the deep end with the second one, because then they try to do mob mentality trauma. That's not okay. Just the way they handled it. Yelling one sentence.
Hey, don't spoil next week.
does not indicate trauma. But I think the characterization of Laurie as she has evolved to where she is now, 40 years later, really drives the story, and I think it's really well done. This is definitely my second favorite after the first Halloween, and it'll always be near and dear to my heart, because my mother introduced me to the Halloween franchise, and this was the last Halloween movie she saw before she passed. So really near and dear to my heart. So
I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate that you have to rank your Halloween movies. My favorite movie is Halloween, and then my second favorite movie is Halloween.
So yeah. So which one exactly?
And then my third favorite film is Halloween.
No, it's not.
What a crazy franchise that sentence can get out. How dare you?
Just you wait till I talk about Halloween 2 and Halloween 2.
Yeah. Or Halloween 2.
Or Halloween Water.
The naming on these they're just a monstrosity. All right, but let's dive into this thing. So this movie picks up, and if you don't remember, they are going to remind you so many times over the next movie. This movie picks up 40 years after the first one. 40.
Oh, was it 40 years? I didn't realize it was 40 years.
It's
I
40
it was
years.
Like 41.
Oh my God, is it 40 years?
40 years.
H40 just doesn't have the right ring to it.
It doesn't, no. But yeah, so 40 years.
I wish I'd looked at what that actual chemical compound was as well.
It's super water. It's the stuff that Adam Sandler drinks.
Jeez Louise.
I'm gonna enjoy that one for a moment.
You're welcome.
Hydrogen hydrate.
It's what gives Michael his power.
There we go.
Super water.
Yeah.
It's not smart water.
It's Halloween hydrogen hydrate.
So just kicking this thing off right, and I'm going to mention this all 3 weeks that we were covering the David Gordon Green stuff. I love his openings. I think each one is very distinct and different. The third one's probably the most shocking, so not to spoil 2 weeks from now, but that one's the one that made me go like, oh fuck. But this one, I also really like this opening. I like the kind of like slow, like kind of creepy crawl, like finding Michael in the institution, and then just the shithead podcaster who makes us all look bad, trying to do like his true crime thing by bringing the mask that he wore to kill people and just shouting at him, like shouting all the way up to like it slams to the title card. I love all of it. I think it all works. It's just a very fun way to start this kind of creepy movie.
How in the fuck did he get a piece of evidence like the Michael Myers mask?
He's a podcaster.
Investigative
That's my one big qualm
reporter
about this whole movie. I love this movie, but how did he get away with that?
I mean, let's face it, it's 40 years old at this point. Like the crime, like the way that the story's going is he never got out again. He's been locked up for 40 years. So it's kind of like, us going in and, or like an investigative reporter sort of going in and saying, oh, I want to borrow this like Ted Bundy's hammer or something like that.
I mean, did we get any verifiable proof that is actually Michael Myers' mask?
Yes, it's got the needle hole that when Jamie Lee got him with the needle.
And I have my own, like, I'll put on like my conspiracy theorist hat. I don't think he got the mask. I think the doctor sent him the mask. I think the doctor orchestrated this whole thing because we see the glimpses of that throughout. Like he definitely does point Michael at Laurie, like, go kill. Let's see what happens.
I smell you're stepping in.
So I think there's a possibility that he got the mask from the doctor. Like the doctor, like there's some scene we didn't get where he's like, what is this Michael Myers mask? He looked in and was like, oh, I should do my next podcast on this. I mean, it's not that unearthed of a story because if you think about it, the kid in this movie, jumping ahead of myself, he makes a good point. Michael Myers killed 4 or 5 people 40 years ago. That's not that big of a splash. Like, yes, that'd be a horrible news story for people in Haddonfield, but the rest of the world, that wouldn't be that big of a deal. So this guy getting that mask wouldn't be that much of a stretch because it wouldn't be that popular of a story. What Michael does tonight and in the next movie would definitely make it a global story, but just what he did in the 70s wouldn't quite break through, I don't think.
I think it must be kind of like that Jeffrey Dahmer thing, right? There's a whole. Is that the one that has like a TV series right now? So it is a footnote in the history of serial killers, but something would have to sort of dredge it up from the grave to have it be meaningfully relevant.
Like mentioning like in with Dahmer as well is a really good point because even stacked up against the sort of those serial killers like your Dahmer, Gacy, Bundy, Michael Myers' like kill count, as it were, is pretty low even compared to them. Like if we're looking at like just the first film, 4 people died. Dahmer killed 15, 16 or something like that. I know Gacy was in like the 30s and Bundy was like in the 20s as well. So like these are sort of like these serial killers. And because they sort of like they went over a long period of time, this is more like Michael Myers isn't really a serial killer; he's a spree killer. So I think a better comparison would be, I think who was the guy in the clock tower? I don't know. There was a guy in a clock tower who killed a lot of people, and then you've got like
Simpsons reference. I don't remember the actual guy.
I think X-Files did a reference to him as well in one of the episodes. But basically, it's like that kind of thing. Whereas again, I can't even think of the names of any spree killers as well.
Yeah, so
probably, that would probably have a good reason. It's like this one just happened to wear a mask.
You're just redefining things so you can argue with me. That's where we're at right now.
Well, not really. I'm kind of agreeing with you.
Well, you agree like
Bryan.
an asshole.
I don't know. I'm agreeing with someone that it wouldn't be that much of a stretch that you'd get the mask.
I think it's going to be interesting to see when Devil in the White City gets made, because the book got a lot of acclaim, but again, when that show comes out, there's going to be a lot more research on H.H. Holmes, and not a lot of people know who he is, but when it happens, it's going to be.
Yeah, but I think all that's it leads into this movie pretty well, because I think, me living in California, I doubt I would really hear about something from the 70s where a night where a few kids were killed. Not saying it's not sad or tragic. It's both of those things to the nth degree. It's just, it's not going to be a global news story. So I think that all kind of leads into this whole, like, how did the podcaster get that mask? That's not that big of a deal. Like, he could just ask. It's been 40 years. The guy's been, by all accounts, a good patient. Like, they're not going to let him out, but he hasn't hurt anybody since he's been in the institution. So it's like, there's not really much there to go on. So I kind of like that. It's like, this journalist is coming around stirring the pot. Like, he's like, I don't really have much to go on, so I'm going to take this kind of low level story. I'm going to go find the woman survivor. I'm going to go piss her off on air. Like, just get her really angry on air. Like, I like that approach to it. Like, let's see if we can get this shit going again. And then they really, really do.
And if you think about it as well, like, the mask itself, like, he was caught 40 years ago. Like, there's got to be an end point on how long they keep evidence like that around.
That's true. I was just going to say that was going to be my joke is, he caught him on the good day of spring cleaning.
Yeah, like, hey, can I get that mask? I guess. He hasn't, like, this has been dead for 40 years. Yeah, just take it.
State statues, 25 years. I'm here now. I'm going to do another story, but 15 years later. But can I have the mask?
Yeah. And I also like kind of jumping around a little bit, but there's like, I love how much the podcaster doesn't buy into any of it. But like, oh yeah, no, he's the boogeyman. He's real. I was like, I don't believe in the boogeyman. Like, you should. He's going to kill you. And like, and I like that approach of like, we use this guy as the entry point to the movie, and then we get rid of him rather quickly. It's like, here he is. He's gonna get the ball rolling. He's getting interested in Laurie again. He's interested in Michael again. And then Michael's gonna murder the shit out of him.
Yeah, I even remember like theory before the film came out. I remember theories that people were like, oh, I bet it's actually the podcaster who's wearing the mask, killing people.
Yeah,
and it's like, nope, definitely not. Like you very quickly you find out that it's not, because oh boy, does he get killed.
Oh yeah, it's
he gets killed to death.
I've always wondered what it would be like to be a human battering ram.
Yeah, like, man, he just gets smacked all around.
Yeah, it's not really an effective battering ram, really, is it? That wall doesn't move. His face does.
Face moves a lot.
I guess it just depends on what you're trying to batter.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't use a human face on a concrete wall, I guess.
I mean, you can. It's all about goals. Just set expectations is all I'm saying.
Put that on your vision board.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a person through a wall. It's gonna go great. But as we meet Laurie, we start meeting her family again, and she's got a daughter. Her daughter has a daughter. And we really like, they don't waste any time without starting the whole, like, we're gonna really hammer in generational trauma. Like, grandma had something happen to her, which means mom had a shitty childhood, which means daughter had a somewhat shitty childhood. It's just gonna start trickling down. And it's a theme throughout the entire movie, this generational trauma. I think it's done really well. It was interesting in 2018 that there was like 4 or 5 different projects that tried to approach the same subject matter, but they did it all like differently. This one, or Haunting of Hill House, that was the first one, I think, were my favorites. But it's a really interesting take, because they're using something like a slasher film to talk about something that's a legitimate problem in many, many families. Not to this degree, obviously, but that generational trauma is a real thing. And this one was able to use something, as big and shiny as, fucking Michael Myers to talk about it. And I think they do a really good job with it. Like, every time they have a conversation with any generation talking to each other, you can see it's there. Like, there's definitely that elephant in the room every time. And they don't need to address it because it's just so obviously there. And it's just constantly a problem.
Yeah, and when you see that too, it's definitely one of those things where just the scene when they're celebrating Allison's, is it Allison?
Yeah.
Allison's National Honor Society, And grandma's like, oh, they inducted me. You know, it's like you have the poise to be a successful person, but there's still that stain of what happened to you. Like when they're walking and talking about it, where they shoot down the whole, oh, it's the sister thing. It's just, you know, this is what happened and we have to live with it. And Allison is somewhat making it okay. Like she still feels estranged, but you can tell Karen does not. And they do it in a really subtle way that really allows the characters to develop. That's just my thought on it. I thought they did a really good job with it.
Yeah. And I actually, we should probably touch on that conversation just a minute. The whole, like, it's not the brother conversation. Like, there's something that feels very distinctive. Why am I blanking on his name now? Not David Gordon Green. Fucking Kenny Powers. Danny McBride. There it is.
Danny McBride.
That feels very, because I know he helped write this movie, and like that entire conversation just feels very Danny McBride. Of like the whole like, wait, wasn't he his brother? Just fuck off. Just fuck off to all of that. Like the whole like he didn't kill that many people. Fuck off. It's his brother. Fuck. I don't care. You shouldn't care either. We're moving on. And it's
This
just
is
like,
our story.
it's like it's done very like accusatory towards the audience. Like they don't like point at the camera, but they might as well. I really do appreciate that, like that approach in filmmaking. I don't think enough movies do that. Like if you know there's something that the audience is going to be like, hey, just fucking call it out and tell people to move on. And this was done organically and it very well, where you can kind of laugh like, I know why this is in this movie, but then it doesn't bother you either. It didn't bump me at the same time.
I like how they dealt with it as well, and just the way that Allison explains it. Like, no, that was just a stupid rumor that people made up, and it's just like, yeah, it was a bit of a stupid story point. I agree with that. It was pretty stupid.
Is it weird that in this trilogy I kind of miss it? Like now that I'm here, I'm like, I did kind of like that a little bit. I think it's mostly because Halloween Kills, when they try to distance them so much, but we'll get that in the next week. Halloween Kills is what makes me miss it, not this movie.
I don't know, like I always go back to Halloween H2O or Halloween Water, as I'm always going to call it now. Is like it just feels so weird the way that like constantly referring to him as her brother. In that, I always think of that whenever it comes up with like, you know, the brother thing, and is it good, is it bad? And it's just like it just feels weird when she's referring to him as a brother.
But this is what you have to remember though, is Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to be killed off. Like she was done. Like she was done with this. She wanted to space herself. So when she read this script, she believed in it that much that one line was enough to take it away where she could establish her own character, which she did, because that's the level of her genius. I mean, she's about to be nominated for an Academy Award. So, I mean, she is a brilliant actress and really takes those deep dives that I think she's not credited for, because that, you know, she did the slasher early on and then she just kind of did all these other films. She's a great actress. And so when she was able to take that line and make it work, there you go. I mean, it's a completely different story.
Yeah. And
I mean, I watched True Lies again recently because it's on.
That's a great film.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus and it's actually in HD, and it's in HD. So, you know, check it out. I know it's like, you know, we're in the 4K realm, but that film being in HD is impressive.
I'm not trying to knock Jamie Lee Curtis because I think she's a fantastic actress. I think she just feels that there's that stigma. And when she read this script again, she was able to shed that stigma and bring something new to the character.
Oh, yeah. Her character in this versus H2O are wildly different characters.
Yeah. And they both deal with trauma too.
Yeah, and both kind of similar. Like they both kind of have a drinking problem. Like there's definitely like there's shades of the similar idea in both, but they approach it, or she approaches it very differently in this one. And I think it works largely to her credit. Like it's good.
Right.
I think the backstory works better in this film as well. Like, you know, the failed marriages, Karen being taken away from her by like social services or child protective services,
her being a prepper.
Yeah, but I think it works way better than what they did in H2O, because in H2O, yes, we've got the alcoholism, yes, we've got that trauma thing, but I don't think they lean on it as much as this one does. And I think this one does it in a much better way of, actually, if you did have something that traumatic happen to you at such a young age, it is going to fuck you up. It's going to give you issues. And, you know, the failed marriages and, like, you know, this prepper stuff as we're seeing, and that sort of like, you know, the way that it kind of affects her daughter to the point where when social services get involved, they're going, this is not the best environment for a child to grow up in.
No, and it wasn't like that cabin is a murder cabin.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's
I mean, it's literally a design to trap a human and burn them.
Yeah, with the exception of a fireproof cabinet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll get into spoilers next week's movie is dumb.
But I think that goes to the credit of the characterization, because like in H2O, when she realizes that John's not on the trip, she goes to like super mom mode, and that's not in this. Like, she's very vulnerable, and she's only badass Lori when she needs to be badass Lori.
Yeah, that's true. No, it definitely does. And it's like I said earlier, it's a very interesting, different approach to this. And like, you can make the argument that H2O is a much more like movie, like trauma, like I had such horrible trauma. I'm mostly fine. I just have a few more drinks than the average person. This one felt more like real world trauma. But yeah, I think it all works.
You got the line where she's talking about, she wished that he'd get out so she could kill him, and it's kind of like that thing of like, I want him to come after me so I can kill him and basically kill my trauma. And it's that sort of kind of like self-medicating, as the idea that if she kills Michael, she will kill her trauma.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't work like that, because that's not how psychology works. But when you are that traumatized by something, I think it's something that you can kind of look at that. And I really like how they did that as well. And like, she's literally wanting him to come after her so she can kill him. And everyone else is like, you're fucking nuts. Why do you want that? And it's like, no, I need this. This is how I will be okay.
Yeah.
And even us as an audience going, well, no, that's not going to work, because you'll kill him, but then you'll still have that trauma there. The nightmares are not just going to stop at that point.
Well, exactly. And this can kind of help push us on. That scene, like, she does try to go kill Michael when they're transferring him. She's literally in the car slamming vodka with a gun, and she just can't bring herself to do it because she doesn't know what the trauma is going to do after the fact. He's gone, but like, it's just watching Jamie Lee Curtis crumble in herself as the character of Lori in that scene is fantastic.
It's rough, but it's tough to watch almost.
Yeah,
like that scene of like the getting Michael on the bus is probably my least favorite scene in the movie, and I don't know why. It's just always, maybe it's the Loomis like impersonation that just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't sound like him. It just sounds like somebody hired somebody off Fiverr to do an impersonation of Donald Pleasance.
Why can't they just get a decent, there are hundreds of people who can do perfect impersonations of people's voices.
They did.
Get the guy. I mean, it's better in Halloween Kills than this one.
It's fucking awful in Halloween Kills. It sounds Scottish in some bits.
It's better than this one, but either way, just get the guy who does Hugo Weaving for the Avengers now. Like, get that guy. Like, Walking Dead, like Ross something. He's great. He can do like anyone's voice. Get that guy.
Yeah.
Really, if you need someone to do somebody else's voice, just call him. He's great.
I mean, at least just get a British guy, because it just sounds like there's these people who are just trying to do a British accent, and it's like, people who are trying to do a British accent who apparently have never heard a British person speak.
Yeah. It's just weird. But otherwise, like as soon as the doctor gets on the bus, if you didn't have that, he's a problem, like, then your warning bells are broken. Like, it just felt like okay, no, I should be worried about this guy. And then as the movie unfolds, like, oh yeah, he caused all of the issues. Like, way to go, asshole.
Thanks, Sartan.
Yeah, and his whole opinion of like, well, he hasn't spoken in 40 years, but he'll speak to Lori. It's like, what makes you think that? Why?
He didn't speak to her in the first place.
Yeah, he never said anything to her. He just
tried to stab her.
Yeah. There was no words, so I don't know why he made.
We don't know. It could have been going stab, stab, stab as he was actually, thrusting.
I let my knife do my talking.
But yeah, it's one of those like, fine, it's fine. Like I get that, like a movie like this, it has to be like kicked off, and it really does kick off. Like the bus gets fucked up. That poor dad and his son show up to find out what happened, and the murdering starts. Like, holy crap, does the murdering start? Like, there are so many more murders in this thing than the original Halloween. Like, these things are violent movies.
Yeah.
He kills 6 people in a span of like 4 hours.
Yeah,
the father and son, the 2 dudes working at the garage, and then the 2 podcasters.
Yeah, and he just rips through them. It's like, oh, I've had murder blue balls for 40 years.
Well, and I think that was an interesting take by David Gordon Green, is because you don't see the dad die, but you see the kid die. So that way they're kind of showing you that this is no hold bars. Like, Michael is killing an innocent. So that was an interesting take on when I watched this.
Yeah,
I like that you didn't see the dad die as well, because it adds that tension.
Yeah,
Like, you know, the kid gets out. It's really foggy for some reason. It wasn't that foggy that long ago.
yeah.
It's atmospheric fog. Tension fog. But you know, I like that, because you don't know if you know that the dad's dead, but you don't know the dad's dead. So I think that, like, you know, the way that it's done with that is it's really good at building tension. It goes back to the first Halloween film, which wasn't about the gore. It was more about the tension. And I mean, this one does both. Like, you know, I'm not saying it's not gory at all, because fuck me, is it gory? But it's also got that tension and that sort of the atmospheric element to it as well, which we started to lose a lot of as well in a lot of the Halloween sequels, as they sort of leaned more into gore. It kind of lost, you know, that, you know, the edge of your seat part of it. It became a bit more about jump scares and stuff like that.
Sure. One thing I do want to note in these sort of sequences here that I do find interesting is we do get a little bit of that Michael Myers stalking again, specifically with the podcasters, like the people who had his mask. Like, as soon as he gets out of the bus and starts killing again, he's in the background of almost every one of their shots. Like, he is following those podcasters. He knows who has his mask, and he is going to go kill them and pretty much anyone who happens to bump into along the way. But I do like that whole, like, because I'm at the point in my notes where I found like the whole like the podcast in the bathroom, like, it was just that great thing of like, he's following. They've been told the second they went to go talk to him in the very beginning of the movie, don't underestimate Michael. And they both did, and they both get fucked for it. And it's like, I like that this movie does kind of have that whole, like, it is going to harken back to the original Michael Myers everything, while also being this new updated movie. And we really get that as it, like, because where are we at in my notes? Oh boy, here he goes killing again. Like, because after the movie kind of gets going, it's just he puts on his mask. Like, that shot of him putting on the mask is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Very, very good, like, hero shot of him, like, whoo, I get to do this again. And then it just kind of kicks off. And I'm not a huge fan of the one take, because it's not really a one take and it's kind of messy, but it is a nice, like, he's back in his hunting grounds and he's just going to start walking to houses and stabbing people. And it's like, that's exactly what he does.
Yeah.
Well, and like, in the one take that I really enjoy, and this is just kind of a credit to David Gordon Green, is that he shows groups that are going to be that play out in the next movie. Not so much the third movie, because that takes place 4 years after this night, but like, you see the doctor and the nurse, and they're at the bar that you see in the second movie. You see the kids that are little jerks. You see them walking around that night. So really good job of universe building with that one take.
That's true. Yeah. I was trying to think of it like, I was hoping it was going to go longer, and I was hoping it was going to be more violent. And like, I thought it was going to follow him to houses, not just kind of like what it did, where it just kind of follows him up to the house, then goes out to the front of it. So you kind of the voyeur aspect of it. There's good ideas in it. They didn't really work for me. I'm also kind of burnt out on the one shots, because we all know they're not actually one shots. Like, we all look for the edits now. Like, so it's not, maybe it's more on me than it is on the filmmaking, because I'm just kind of tired of this.
What do you mean edits? There's no editing in films. None at all. It's all one shot, right? Every time that we watch a film, that they're just doing it again.
There's a high correlation that a film that wins Best Picture also wins Best Editing. Maybe.
Editing might be important.
Editing is one of those things that you don't notice until it's going wrong.
Right.
Like sound design.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, though,
Nolan.
Like, if you don't notice the editing, that means the editing's good. Like, you shouldn't be noticing the editing, really, unless it's done like there's literally a stylistic reason for it, of like, you know, the like, you know, they wanting to draw your attention to it, but just in general, you shouldn't be noticing the editing.
Yeah,
like that Futurama quote from the episode that Bender is in space with a god, and something effective like, if you're doing everything right, people won't know that you've done anything at all.
yeah.
That's
editing and sound department through and through.
Yep.
Again, Christopher Nolan, take notes. Bullshit in Tenet was unacceptable. The one babysitter that he does kill in this movie, I feel extremely bad for. I liked Vicky. I thought
I liked her so much, like her and the kid. Like
it was a good
Julian
relationship.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like I liked Julian, I liked Vicky. I didn't even mind her idiot boyfriend. Like all of them were just like, these were fun characters. Like David Gordon Green kind of made them too fun to die. So when she actually is like getting brutalized, it's like, damn it. No, she was cool. And there she goes.
That you could tell that scene was just the scene with Julian in general when they're talking before Dave comes. That was written by Danny McBride. 100%.
Oh yeah. The kid just felt like a Danny McBride hire.
Right.
This kid is hysterical.
But no, just like the kid's smart. Like he's running down the stairs. Don't go up there, Dave. You're gonna die.
It wasn't even that. It was the we need to go up there and figure out what's going on. Send Dave first.
That kid stole the movie.
He really did.
He shouldn't have, but he did.
Like I remember watching this movie at like 10 o'clock at night when it came out, like by myself in the theater, because it was rather soon after my son was born. So my son was born in June and this came out in October. So I had like a 4-month-old at home. I'm like, I need to go see a movie. So I went and saw it. And like every time that kid was on screen, the entire theater was like screaming with laughter. Like he was just so funny. Like he just broke the tension so well.
100%. That's good. I mean, I saw it the same night, opening night, and it was just people were laughing their asses off.
Yeah. Wow, all my notes here for a while, just like, no, don't kill Vicky, kill Dave. I have a lot of those for a while. And then, Dave did die. He got pinned.
Again, it's that thing of not showing the death, but leaving it as something to be like, you know, like a tense moment to be
that Hawkins discovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that thing of him, like, you know, him just literally stuck to the wall and it's like, oh.
Yep.
Oh, fuck.
I would have liked to see that kill, but I'm glad I didn't. Because, like, just hearing Vicky die, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, that's bad enough.
Yeah.
I liked Vicky. The boyfriend.
I did too.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing the boyfriend die.
He wasn't. The thing is, and this is probably my biggest problem with honestly the last trilogy and this trilogy, like the Rob Zombie one and this one, there's not a ton of likable characters in them. Like everyone kind of sucks, at least to a certain degree. Like even Laurie is like, she's intentionally made to kind of push you away a little bit. Like that's the design of the character, so I understand it. But it's like when we get a character, say like Vicky, or it's like, oh, I actually like this one, it sucks that much more as then we go spend the rest of the time with with Laurie's granddaughter, who kind of sucks. Like I've never liked that character. She bothers me way more in the next movie than this one. But even in the third one, she's also kind of shitty there too. Like these characters just aren't that great and relatable. I understand why. I get the reasoning behind it. I get the creative reason behind it, but that doesn't change the fact that they're not very likable characters.
I think Allison is fine in this one. Her jumping the gun and joining mob mentality for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, well, we'll get to it, but it felt forced in the second one for her characterization in the first one.
Yeah, I like Allison in the first one. I think she's.
I don't at all.
I don't know what it just seems. She seems like, you know, a normal.
She seems like Laurie.
Person. Yeah, she seems like Laurie in the first film.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you though about the next one. What the fuck is going on here? You know. Yeah.
You lose a family member. Let's join mob mentality.
Yeah.
Grieve. That's what people do.
We'll get to next week. We got a lot to talk about next week. We're nearly done with this one. And so kind of jumping ahead a little bit, we have like I'm really jumping over the teenagers because they don't really add a ton to this. I'm here for Michael.
Talk about Oscar though, because
that's where I was gonna go. Like we have Oscar coming up next, and Oscar stupidly makes a move on Allison right after she sees her boyfriend kind of making out with another girl, but that's all forgotten in the next one. Again, we'll get to next week. But like, so we have Oscar, and like his death is probably, at least to me, if not Vicky, then his would be the saddest, because he's just drunk, rejected, and alone, and then he gets fucking pinned to a fence through his face. Like, that poor
He
kid.
gets stabbed in the back first as well, and then,
he does,
and then then he falls on the fence. It's like, oh, yeah. When you see that, like the thing sticking out through his mouth, it's like, ugh.
Yeah,
that's not a nice way to go.
No, it would be a real shitty way to go. Like, that would hurt a lot. I don't want that. It just kind of sucks. Like, I don't mind Oscar as a character. Again, he's also not my favorite. Again, but his death scene is probably one of the more brutal ones. Like, just because of all that, it's like, you have the emotional beating up, and then you have the actual physical beating up and murder. Like, oh man, Oscar had a bad night.
Yeah,
I mean, he definitely died from the back wound. Just the thing was just let's make a little bit more gory for all our Halloween fans, because if Timothy Dalton could live at Hot Fuzz,
yeah,
Oscar could have walked away, but a knife to the spine definitely does not do much.
Well, James Bond versus some middle Illinois teenager.
I mean, one of the toughest James Bonds as well, because
oh yeah,
we're not talking Roger Moore James Bond.
Yeah.
I thought I read somewhere middle-aged teenagers in the running for the next Bond, though.
Wait, what? God, no. All right, I'm just gonna move past that.
But
our wheels were turning like,
no. You know what? Let's just take a break like the movie did and talk about banh mi sandwiches. No one? Movie takes a full 2-minute break to discuss what a banh mi sandwich is. It's my biggest complaint in this. Comes out of nowhere, just like this comment is, and two cops just sit in a cop car going, let's describe what a banh mi sandwich is. Out of all things that cut out of a movie, how did this not make that list?
I don't know. I kind of see it as like a bit of a palate cleanser before all the the gore that comes through, and it's like, I think, do you know what it made me think? I genuinely think they were trying to do like a Quentin Tarantino thing of like, let's just have a bit of a random talk, which means absolutely nothing to build up these characters.
For me, whenever I see two cops being the comedic pause, I always assume they're trying to do Last House on the Left
or Part 5.
Or Part 5, yeah. But again, even Part 5, I made Last House Left reference for that one too. Like, whenever I see like the comedic cops, like, oh, we need to break the tension of all this murder, it's like that always brings me back to the two knucklehead cops in Last House on the Left, where they clash with the tone of the movie so violently. But it's specifically to do that. I feel like that's always what they're talking about. I could be wrong, maybe it's just me, but that's just one.
But like the thing with that too is like you just had this huge reveal of Hawkins dying at the hands of Sartain, and you're like, we're going on a serious thing here. Like, I want to know more. And here's two dumbasses talking about a sandwich. Like,
yeah.
You just revealed like this guy could be the whole, like, he's deranged. Like, he's a doctor that wants to study Michael killing someone. Like,
he just put on the mask and stabbed a dude. Like,
let's talk about that.
Yeah. No. Peanut butter banh mi sandwiches.
I'm gonna wear the mask. It's like when he stands up in that, there's something really off-putting about that, and it's not that it's creepy or anything. It's just a bit like, oh, that looks weird. Why is he wearing the mask?
Yeah.
Like why are you doing that?
Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I am now Michael.
Get the fuck out of here.
How did you get any sort of like medical degree? You're clearly a fucking nutcase.
Hey, Harley Quinn was a doctor too, so it happens.
A lot of time hanging out with the creeps.
Yeah. I do have to say, like, the scene that comes after that though, with Allison in the back of the cop car is probably that's her best moment of he spoke to me. Is just knowing exactly what the doctor wants to hear and just having like the doctor boner, just like, he spoke, what'd he say? And it's like, oh, you got him. Like, that was a smart move.
Yeah.
But just like the tension too, like, you know, and she's saying what she needs to say to get the doctor to let her out. And then all of a sudden you see the hand move and then you hear the breathing and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. And then the doctor, this great plot line of the doctor, is he gonna be the killer now? Is he gonna be the new no, his head's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he curb
It's-
stomped to the 10th
Yeah,
degree.
yeah, it's boob juice. Yeah, that oof.
He did a Ryan Gosling in Drive on him.
He really did, except Ryan Gosling did like 10
one.
stomps. Yeah,
Yeah.
did like one stomp.
He just goes.
You think that's David Gordon Green? Like, I have to give homage to Rob
Yeah.
or Halloween 2. Let's
That
do
might
this.
as well.
God.
Reference point was always American History X for the curb
Yep,
stomps.
stomp.
That
Yep.
was
Too many curb stomps in movies. They're uncomfortable to watch. Like, just give it to me in Gears of War. I'm good there.
But then you're
I mean, I like what they're doing in Drive.
That's
I mean,
true.
it's not
That is.
Not technically a curb stomp, though. It's more of an elevator floor stomp.
It's just I'm going to turn this guy into liquid stomp.
Yeah.
Right in front of my girlfriend, who she seems a little disturbed by it. Shocker. That's a good movie.
like-
I should rewatch Drive. So now Michael has shown up at the cabin where everybody's hiding. Toby Huss, who we didn't really talk about at all, goes out and well, he doesn't make it. It's like, oh, bye, Tracer. You should have been a Hulk.
He investigates sandwich shop cops and the human pumpkin.
Yep. And yeah, he doesn't make it. It is kind of sad seeing him go. I did like him. He has my favorite line in the movie.
He is great though. He's Toby
is
Huss.
good.
Like when I was watching it, I'd forgotten that he was in it as well. And somebody showed up and I was like, "Oh, Toby Huss!" And then I started thinking of like the last film I saw him in, which is a film called Cop Shop, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
just because of him in it. Like he's amazing in that film, and he's like as an actor, he's so versatile because you have him on like one hand playing this character Ray, who is kind of a wet lettuce, and then you have him, playing the character he plays in Cop Shop, which is just absolutely balls to the wall insane. And then you've got like the voice acting that he does, and then I've seen him in other things where he's very, very versatile as an actor. And we need more Toby Huss, I think.
Oh yeah, I love Toby
not
Huss.
this movie though, or this series.
Yeah, we're out of Toby Huss in this. Like, a very small helping of Toby Huss.
Michael wanted to get ready for Christmas by playing Jingle Bells with Toby.
Yeah.
I mean, he could get struck by lightning. Oh no, wait, that's Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that's Jason. And we don't want that version back. Like, that's not the same Toby Huss. But I do like the last like fight sequence. It is very like, let them fight. Like I dig it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I like watching her and Michael. I like watching Jamie and Michael duke it out. It's always fun. It's a good time.
Mhm.
I actually like it much better here than I do in Halloween Ends. Like Halloween Ends feels more like an afterthought, whereas in here, this is the show. Like this is what we all came for, and it's like, yeah, and it works. And then we have the daughter as well, and I love her fake out moment of the mom, I can't do it, and like then Michael shows up and she's like, yeah, I can.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Yeah, I love that moment.
That was good.
My only complaint about that whole because I think the sequence where she's searching the house and sealing the rooms off, fucking brilliant. My only complaint is she's prepared so much, and then she takes the worst weapon for close quarters. That rifle's about as big as she is, and it's like, oh, she's gonna go in a room and he's gonna knock it out of her hand because it's that fucking long. Oh, look, that's exactly what he did. It's like, she had a short shotgun, which would have been way better.
Well, seeing like that too, like when you originally saw the trailer for the fight too, like there's more to it. Like they go outside in the bright lights and she's got a knife and he's got a knife. Like we didn't get that. And I don't know where that deleted scene is. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it's in the trailer. So, if this came out right now, we could sue for not getting what we wanted.
That makes me so sad.
It does, but like I really want to see that footage, but I don't know where it is. It'll probably come out in another 40 years for the 40th anniversary of this one.
Yeah,
probably. I am kind of glad that it wasn't in there though, because I think it would have just felt a bit too much. Whereas like
forced. You think forced?
Yeah. I like for what we got in this, I think it's really well done.
Yeah.
Like, that because it's more tense. And this is like we have to keep remembering us that this is a horror franchise. This is not the Terminator, for example. Like, I know there's comparisons between Laurie and Sarah Connor could be made in these two films.
And
like
Michael Myers and a murdering robot.
Yeah. But this is more the Terminator versus Terminator 2. So it's still more horror slasher. It's not like, I don't think we needed like a full on, like, you know, outside knife fight and all that stuff. I think what we got was it was more in keeping with the kind of genre that it is in, and I don't know, like I said, I think it would have felt forced.
I'm kind of in both of you. I do think tonally it wouldn't quite fit with what they were doing with. That said, I would love to see that scene out of context of a movie.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see the scene,
just
but
sit
I'm
there with
glad
their
it's
mic.
not in the film.
Do you think that they did it as a way to like get people to come to the theaters?
It could have been. I think
It's-
it's around the time when they started doing stuff like that, where they shot stuff that's this is just for the trailer. Like Rogue One had that shot of Jin,
The TIE fighter coming up.
Yeah,
the TIE fighter coming up, but it also the shot of Jin in the corridor thing with the lights come on. That was literally
yep.
They just literally did that for the trailer.
They didn't even do that for the trailer. They just did that because they were in that scene. They're like, "Oh, this would be a good shot. Just go do it." I mean, that's how he does.
Oh yeah, that was
so
it.
many shots. Like that's how
Yeah.
that director works. Like this would be cool. Just go do this real quick. We might use it. We might not.
Thanks, Gareth Edwards.
Yeah. So we're at the end of this thing here, and I feel we should wrap it up. We find out the cabin is just a big old trap where you have to use yourself as bait. Risky trap. But it all works out. They get him down in the hole, they light the house on fire, and they leave. And that's it. Like they really just kind of slam out of this thing. I'm fine with it. I think that ending works. It's kind of reminiscent of the original ending where it's just like it's just done now. Like everything sucks. These people are gonna have trauma, and moving on.
Yeah, personally, I think that would have been the best ending. Like, you know, they could have just done this one last film, and that's it. And we don't have to have any of the sequels. And I think that would have been a pretty solid ending.
Yeah.
But then you get the post-credit breathing. You're like, okay, we knew, and plus we knew it was going to be a trilogy anyway. So
yeah, they made that pretty clear really early. And I mean,
that's the problem
time,
though, when you know it's a trilogy, the ending doesn't work. But I don't think I knew at the time when I first saw this that it was going to be a trilogy. I kind of like ignored a lot of that stuff around it.
So Matt, did you stick around for the end credits though to hear the breathing?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that there was after credit sequence. I didn't realize I was watching a Marvel.
It's just breathing. Like
film.
it's not like a sequence. It's just they took Nick Cannon's breathing and they just overlaid it the end part of the credits.
And
a bit like Master of the Universe, where they just had Frank Langella in that really bad skull mask, like raised out of some water. Go, I'll be back.
No, you won't.
No, you won't.
Neither will anybody else.
But even the breathing at the end of the movie for this one could have just been like a delightful nod to like Michael will always be back, even if it's not.
I thought that too, but I mean, I just knew. Yeah, I already knew there was going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, this is true of other series, I know, but Michael Myers is an unkillable force to me. I don't care how many times they show you killing him, he can't die.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
that was my argument for the third movie when people were all butthurt, like, "Oh, it's ending." I'm like, "No, Michael Myers will always be around. He'll just be around in a different story, and that's what it is. He's an unkillable force, and he makes too much money for the studio heads."
Exactly. Michael Myers will always be around. We've got the Austin Powers films.
All right. Well, let's move into like favorite quotes or moments from this thing before we wrap it up. My favorite quote is, it's very, very unrelated to the entire movie, but Toby Huss is in the movie and he's funny. If Toby Huss is in a movie and he's funny, he's gonna have my favorite quote. And this one's, I think it's in the first scene that he's in, because it's right after I wrote in all caps Toby Huss, because I was excited to see Toby Huss. And he's talking to his daughters and he spills what he's eating on his pants and he goes, I got peanut butter on my penis.
I wrote that quote down. It's just the way he delivers it, and then the immediate cut to Allison, who just sort of like that grimace, but it's like,
oh, Dad.
Exactly. You can hear the sort of, oh, Dad, why are you saying that?
Just say pants.
And it's just I got peanut butter on my penis.
It's just so disappointed. It's such easily my favorite line in the whole movie, like just hands down. Nothing gets better than that. But speaking of things that might get better than that, Matt, what was yours?
I just like the bit where the sheriff turns to Dr. Sartain's like, you sit still. Well, I was sitting still anyway.
It's no peanut butter on penis, but that was a good one.
I got a good one.
Yeah.
It's when they're talking about Julian and Vicky are talking about smoking weed. He goes, I'm gonna tell my mom that you're having your friends come over and you're smoking weed. And Vicky goes, well, I'm gonna tell your mom about your browser history. And Julian goes, you better not.
Totally relatable.
Yep.
Incognito mode is your friend.
Tell that's your ISP. Anyhow,
VPNs are your friend.
okay, now you're getting better. Joel, what was yours?
So there's this moment that happens when Michael's escaping, and I'm surprised nobody else brought it up actually, but there's a character that sort of follows him around. It's acted by Danny Trejo, and he sort of acts like this, friendly guide for Michael. And Michael's escaping after killing a bunch of the people at the actual asylum. And Danny Trejo's character is like, well, maybe my kindness will save me. And it doesn't.
Is this a joke? Are you talking about the wrong Halloween film on purpose?
I love that you are not sure about that.
I'm honestly confused. I'm like, wait, serious or not?
It's just the point that you did watch the wrong one in the first place. Have you?
Yeah. On my deathbed, I'm one of the last flashes in my eyes is going to be, wait, which one is Halloween?
It's Halloween, not Halloween, and not Halloween, but Halloween.
I'm not going to ask for a different moment from Joel. That one works. It was still a good moment in that version of Halloween, so it still counts.
He had me going for a minute, then I was like, hang on a minute. Was Danny Trejo in this one as well?
I don't remember Danny Trejo in this thing. Grant, I watched it like a month ago because I watched it when we were originally going to record before wife caught COVID. So he could have been right, and I just forgot. But
nope, leave it for Joel to swing for the fences and hit a home run.
All right. Well, I'd say we've covered Halloween again. I'm excited to jump into Halloween Kills next week. I hope you are too. It is not a very good movie, but it is a very fun movie to talk about, as this movie came out years ago now, and I still bitch about it with many friends. Like, many different friends will just like, hey, Evil dies tonight. That fucking movie. Like, it's just like it's a good one to talk about. So it should be a very fun episode. So we'll do a very quick round of plugs and we'll say goodbye for this show. Every other show on the ATH Network. Be sure to check out athpod.com. Features this, Damage Boost, a couple of Joel's shows.
Yeah. So Afterthoughts is a after the hype networked podcast. My wife and I try to read books and then discuss them. She is an English teacher, so she has an interesting insight into some of this. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring is the one we're going to be doing this month. We took January off, and then I suppose I need to squeeze Dune in there somewhere.
Dude.
Yes, you do.
At 13 cents, really making a difference.
Look, I'm a man of my word. It's sometimes on a longer timeline than you'd like. The other podcast,
literally, it'll be at Brian's funeral. He'll go up to the coffin and go, Brian, I finished Dune.
You were right. It was so great. If only we could have talked about it.
You had your chance.
The other podcast I'm a part of is Super GG Radio. That one is part of the Front Row Network, along with Ryan. Video games, mostly talk about indie stuff. My game recommendation of the day, Vampire Survivors.
I think you mentioned that one once before. It's
I was gonna say
it's that good. I gotta say it again, dude. I have been playing that game nonstop for like the last 2 months, and Kelly is not a big video game person, but she's deep in it too. It's really, really good. Not too complicated on its face, but has the right kind of complexity that builds on top of that.
I'm in the middle of a second run of Elden Ring, so it's going to be a minute.
Yeah, fair. I traded in that game.
Boo! Game's amazing. Matt, what's your plug?
I wish I liked that game.
I wish you did too.
Yeah, so I do have this other podcast that is coming at some point. We've been having a few delays because for some reason, all this stuff that's going on in the Ukraine and Russia and all that stuff is kind of fucking up a lot of the European Space Agency stuff. So they're a little bit busier than normal. Who knew?
Honestly, that's a part of the war that I don't think about too much. That's an interesting wrinkle.
An entire mission to Mars has been scrapped because of it.
Oh wow.
Because a lot of the components were Russian. A lot of this stuff has been built to work with some of this Russian stuff, and they'd started building we're not going to get the Russian bits. Well, we can't launch the mission. Oh, so there's a lot going on at the moment. So we are trying to get something sorted out. We've got another person who we're looking at to talk about the expanse in terms of the actual the biology of the protomolecule, which she's a space biologist or something like that. One of the things that she's done is she's actually been to Chernobyl to study how biological things have grown in radiation and stuff like that. So yeah, that should be an interesting one to do as well. So that might take over the one we're going to do on gravity and become the next episode we do. It just depends on scheduling and timing and all that jazz.
Cool.
But yeah, it is coming. We are going to do it. I swear. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. There will be a podcast coming out.
This year started weird for everyone. We're no judgments. I get it. This year started out with me having to take 10 days off while my wife recovered from COVID. So I get it. Yeah. Plans change.
Right.
All right. Was that everybody? Everybody got something to plug?
Yeah, I got a plug.
Oh. I knew I skipped. I felt like I skipped someone. Go ahead, Ryan.
That's all right. So you can find me on the Front Row Network. I do Front Row Flashbacks, where we talk about movies from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. After taking a little bit of a hiatus, just because the end of the year was really, really strenuous. We got a lot going on. We're back at it. We're going to be doing a live in January, and then we're going to get ready for Oscar month with Rain Man. So then you can catch me doing all of the award show coverage on the Front Row Network with Oscar spotlights. There's also going to be a reaction to the Oscar nomination. Of course, I run the Oscar Roundtable, where we break down all the movies nominated for Best Picture and what we think it's going to win in other related fields that it might have gotten nominated for. And then I believe Joel and I are up. We're going to be doing another show for the Front Row Network, where every week we break down an episode of the new show, The Last of Us, for our new show called The Podcast of Us. So check that out. I believe Joel and I will be on with Jeremy for episode 2.
Yeah, that's the plan. New one's out tonight, right?
Yep.
Sweet.
I just watched the first episode today, finally, because every time I tried to watch it, my girlfriend would ring me. So I'd literally, it's like I'd watch 5 minutes, phone call, pause, and we're on the phone that long. It's like, right, I'm going to bed now. Play.
If you guys need a guest host on one of those episodes, call this guy
and this guy.
Yeah,
I really like the series. I loved the game. I have some thoughts on it. Actually, as I was watching the first episode, I started thinking maybe I could write an article about this, because a lot of people are saying this is as far as video game adaptations go, this is actually the one that's got it right. And you're kind of looking at it from a sense of, yeah, but the video game was very heavily story anyway. So, you're not talking about Tetris here.
We got to end this episode. We can't just turn this into Joel and Ryan's show. I agree with everything you're saying, though, Matt. I'd love to jump in part of that conversation. But as far as Halloween shows go, this has got to end. So we're going to say goodbye. Or I'm going to say goodbye, and that'll be good enough.
Evil dies maybe tonight.
Evil dies next week.
Tomorrow.